Welcome back to English Talk Time.
The place where you practice real English every single day.
Now, before you do anything else, just stay with us for a moment.
Because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you learn English.
Let me ask you something honestly. How long have you been learning English?
Months, maybe years.
And yet, when it's time to speak,
You freeze.
your mind goes blank.
Yeah, that awkward silence. We've all been there.
So here's the truth, and it might surprise you.
You don't have a speaking problem.
You have a practice problem.
And today, we're going to fix that together. So, Daniel, let's slow this down a little, because I feel like this is where most people misunderstand everything.
Yeah, this is the foundation. If you don't get this right, everything else feels harder than it should.
Exactly. So tell me, why is daily practice so powerful? Why not just study when you feel motivated?
Because motivation is unreliable.
That's true. Some days you feel excited, and other days you don't want to do anything.
Right. And if your English depends on motivation, then your progress will always be inconsistent.
So daily practice removes that inconsistency?
Yes, but it's deeper than that. Let me explain something very important. Your brain doesn't learn language the way you think it does.
Wait, what do you mean?
Most people believe learning English means studying harder. More grammar, more vocabulary, more rules.
Yeah, that's what we were taught.
Exactly. But your brain is not designed to learn language through pressure.
So how does it learn?
Through repetition, exposure, and familiarity.
Like hearing something again and again?
Yes. Think about a song you love.
Oh yeah, you hear it a few times and suddenly you know all the lyrics.
Exactly. You didn't study the song.
You just listen to it repeatedly.
That's how your brain naturally learns language. But here's the problem.
Go on.
Most English learners don't give their brain that repetition.
Instead, they overload it.
Yes, they try to learn too much, too fast in one sitting.
Like studying for 3 hours in one day and then doing nothing for the next 5 days.
Exactly. And then they wonder, why can't I remember anything?
Yeah, that's frustrating.
It is, but it's not your fault.
It's the method.
Yes, the method is broken. Let me give you a simple comparison.
Okay.
Imagine going to the gym.
Oh no, I already know where this is going.
If you go to the gym once a week and train for 5 hours straight,
You'll be exhausted.
and probably sore for days,
Very sore.
but you won't build real strength.
Because consistency matters more than intensity.
Exactly. But if you go every day, even for 20 minutes,
Your body adapts,
your muscles grow.
and it becomes part of your routine.
That's exactly how English works. Daily practice is not about doing more, it's about doing it consistently.
I like that.
And here's something even more important.
What?
When you practice daily, your brain stops treating English as something foreign.
Oh, it starts to feel normal.
Yes, familiar, comfortable, natural.
And when something feels natural,
You stop overthinking it.
and that's when speaking becomes easier.
Exactly. So the goal is not to study harder,
It's to show up daily.
even if it's just for a few minutes.
Small effort, big change.
Every single day, your brain is slowly building fluency.
Even if you don't notice it immediately.
And one day,
You'll speak.
without even realizing how far you've come.
All right. Now that we understand why daily practice matters, let's talk about something that might be a little uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable?
Yeah, because this is where most learners realize they've been doing the wrong thing for a long time.
Okay, now I'm interested. What is it?
You're studying English, but you're not actually using it.
That's true for a lot of people.
And that's the reason you feel stuck.
Wait, so studying is not enough?
Not even close. Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
If someone reads 100 books about swimming,
Oh no,
but never enters the water.
they can't swim.
Exactly. And English works the same way.
So all those grammar lessons, vocabulary lists,
They're helpful, but only a small part of the process.
but people spend most of their time there.
Yes, because it feels safe.
Safe?
When you're studying, you're in control. No pressure, no embarrassment, no mistakes in front of others.
Yeah, that's true.
But real communication is not safe. It's unpredictable.
You don't know what the other person will say,
You don't have time to think.
and you might make mistakes.
Yes, and that's exactly where learning happens.
So the problem is people avoid using English because it feels uncomfortable.
Exactly. They stay in the learning zone and never enter the speaking zone.
That's actually a good way to say it.
And here's the truth. You cannot become fluent if you stay comfortable.
Yeah, that hits hard.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Okay, I'm listening.
I once met a student who knew thousands of English words.
Wow, that sounds impressive.
It does, but when I asked him a simple question, "What did you do today?"
That's so basic.
he froze, completely silent. He knew the words, but he didn't know how to use them.
Because he never practiced speaking?
Exactly. He trained his memory, but not his communication.
So what should people do instead?
They need to shift their focus from learning about English to living in English.
What does that look like in real life?
It means using English in small, simple ways every day,
Like what?
like describing your day out loud.
I'm making coffee. I'm feeling tired.
Exactly.
Or talking to yourself?
Yes, even if it feels a little funny at first.
It really does, but it works.
It also means reacting in English.
Reacting?
Yeah, when something happens, don't think in your language first,
Go straight to English.
even if it's simple.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't like this.
Exactly.
You know, this changes everything
How?
because it removes pressure.
Explain that.
People think they need perfect sentences, perfect grammar.
But they don't.
They just need to communicate.
Yes, communication first, perfection later.
I think that's what stops people the most.
What do you mean?
They wait until they feel ready.
And that moment never comes.
Never.
So let me say this clearly. If you want to speak English, you must start using it before you feel ready.
Yeah, that's the shift.
Because fluency doesn't come from studying more,
It comes from using what you already know
again and again.
every single day.
So don't ask yourself, how much have I studied today?
Ask yourself,
How much did I actually use English today?
yeah, that question changes everything.
Daniel, can I be honest about something?
Of course.
I think this is where most people are secretly struggling, but they don't even realize it.
You mean translating in their head?
Yeah, exactly that.
This is a big one. Because on the surface, it feels normal.
Yeah, it feels like you're doing the right thing.
You hear something in English,
You translate it into your language,
then you think of a response,
translate it back into English,
and then finally speak.
and by that time, the conversation is already gone.
Exactly. The moment has passed.
And the worst part is, it makes you feel slow.
Yes, slow, unsure, and disconnected.
Like everyone else is moving forward.
And you're stuck in your head. Let's break this down simply.
Okay.
When you translate, you're adding an extra step.
Actually, 2 extra steps.
Yes, and every extra step creates delay.
And delay creates hesitation.
And hesitation destroys confidence.
So the problem is not your English.
It's your thinking process.
You're thinking in the wrong system.
Exactly.
So how do we fix this?
We don't stop translating overnight.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy.
Instead, we replace it, slowly,
Replace it with what?
with direct English thinking. But here's the key. You don't start with complex sentences.
You start small, very small.
For example, right now, instead of thinking in your language,
Just notice something around you.
and name it in English.
Table, phone, window.
Exactly.
That feels simple,
It is simple,
but powerful,
because you're training your brain to connect directly.
without translation.
Then you go one step further.
Add small thoughts.
I'm sitting. I'm listening. I'm tired.
It feels natural.
And over time, those small thoughts become sentences,
Then conversations.
then automatic speech.
So fluency is not a big jump.
It's a series of small shifts.
You know what's interesting?
What?
Children don't translate when they learn language.
Exactly.
They connect words directly to meaning.
And that's why they become fluent naturally.
So we're not learning something new.
We're returning to a natural process. But here's the challenge. Your brain will try to go back to translation.
Because that's what it's used to.
And in those moments, you have to bring it back.
Back to simple English thoughts.
Yes, no pressure, no frustration, just practice.
I think this is where patience matters.
A lot.
Because people want instant results.
But this is a process of rewiring your brain.
And rewiring takes time.
Yes, but it works. And one day, something surprising happens.
What?
You respond in English without translating. You don't even realize it at first.
Until later.
When you think, wait, I just spoke. Naturally.
That's such a good feeling.
It is. And that moment changes everything.
So if you're listening right now,
Don't try to be perfect.
don't try to be fast.
Just start thinking.
In simple English.
Every single day.
Small thoughts.
Big transformation.
All right, we need to talk about something real now.
I think I know what this is about.
Yeah, this is the part most people try to avoid. Fear.
Not lack of vocabulary.
Not grammar,
Not even practice.
it's fear.
Fear of making mistakes.
Fear of sounding wrong.
Fear of being judged.
Fear of embarrassment.
And sometimes it's deeper than that.
What do you mean?
It's fear of looking less intelligent.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Because in your own language,
You're confident.
you can express your thoughts clearly.
You feel like yourself.
But in English, you feel smaller.
Yeah, you feel limited.
Like you can't show who you really are.
And that feeling is frustrating. So, what do most people do?
They avoid speaking.
Exactly. They stay quiet
They wait for the perfect moment,
or the perfect sentence.
which never comes.
And here's the truth. Every time you stay silent,
You're not protecting yourself.
you're slowing your growth.
That's powerful.
Let me tell you something important. Fluency is not built in your comfort zone.
It's built in discomfort.
The moment you feel nervous,
The moment your heart starts beating faster.
the moment you think, what if I say it wrong? That is the exact moment you should speak.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, it is.
So how do you deal with that fear?
You don't wait for it to disappear.
Then what?
You speak with the fear.
So courage is not about feeling confident.
It's about acting, even when you're not.
But what if I make mistakes?
You will.
A lot?
Yeah, a lot. But let me change how you see mistakes. Every mistake you make is proof that you're trying.
And trying leads to improvement.
Exactly.
So mistakes are not failure.
They are progress.
I remember something.
What?
The first time I tried to speak English in public, my voice was shaking. I forgot words, I paused too much.
And?
I felt like everyone noticed.
Did they?
Probably not as much as I thought.
Exactly. Most people are not judging you. They're just listening.
And even if someone judges,
It doesn't matter.
yeah, because your goal is growth, not perfection.
Let's make this practical.
Okay.
Next time you have a chance to speak English, don't wait.
Don't overthink.
Just say something.
Even if it's simple,
Even if it's not perfect,
even if your voice shakes,
say it anyway.
because every time you speak,
You break a little bit of that fear.
and the next time,
It becomes easier
then easier again.
until one day you're no longer afraid. And here's something beautiful.
What?
When you stop being afraid, you start being yourself again.
Even in English.
And that is real fluency.
So if you're listening right now,
Don't wait for confidence
create it.
by speaking.
Even if you feel stupid.
Yeah, especially then.
Okay, so we've talked about daily practice, using English, thinking in English, and facing fear. But I feel like people are still wondering one thing.
Yeah, I know the question.
How do I actually do this every single day?
Exactly. Because understanding is one thing.
But building a daily routine, that's something else.
So let's simplify this completely. You don't need a complicated plan.
That's good because most people already feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, and when something feels complicated,
You don't stick to it.
exactly. So here's the truth. Your English improves when it becomes part of your daily life. Let's start with your morning.
Okay.
The moment you wake up, instead of going straight to your phone,
That's hard already.
yeah, but just try this. Take a moment and think in English.
Like what?
Simple things. I need to wake up. I feel tired. Today is going to be busy.
That's such a small shift.
Yeah, but it sets the tone for your whole day.
Okay, what about the rest of the day?
This is where it gets powerful. You don't need extra time.
Really?
You just need awareness.
Explain that.
Everything you already do, you can do it in English.
Like walking, eating, working?
Exactly. When you're walking, describe what you see.
The street is busy. The weather is nice.
When you're eating,
This tastes good.
when you're working.
I need to finish this.
See, you're already living your life.
You're just adding English to it. So English is not something separate.
It becomes part of your normal routine. Now, let's talk about something most people avoid.
Talking to yourself?
Yeah,
It feels strange at first,
very strange.
but it works.
Because speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth needs practice, not just your brain.
That makes sense.
So take 5 to 10 minutes daily and just talk.
About what?
Anything.
That's helpful.
No, seriously, anything. Talk about your day, your plans, your thoughts.
Even your problems.
Yeah, because the goal is not perfection, it's expression.
Okay, what about listening?
This is where most people waste opportunity.
How?
They listen passively, just like entertainment.
So what should they do instead?
Listen actively.
What does that mean?
When you hear something, don't just understand it.
Interact with it.
Exactly. Pause, repeat, mimic.
Copy the sound.
The rhythm.
The feeling.
That's how you sound natural.
I think this is where people struggle the most.
Consistency?
Yeah.
Because people try to do too much.
And then burn out.
So, let me simplify this. You don't need 2 hours a day. You need consistency, even 15 to 20 minutes daily.
Is enough to create progress.
But only if you do it every day.
Small actions repeated daily.
Create big results. And here's the final level. You stop seeing English as something you learn, start seeing it as something you live.
That's different.
Yeah, because when something becomes part of your identity,
You don't need motivation anymore.
you just do it.
So English is no longer a subject,
It becomes part of your life.
and that's when real fluency begins.
Not in a classroom.
But in your daily moments. That was powerful.
So, if you stayed with us until this moment, that already tells us something about you,
It means you're serious about changing your English,
not just learning it.
but actually using it.
And here's what we want you to remember. Fluency is not something that happens overnight.
It's not a talent.
It's not luck.
It's something you build,
Day by day,
word by word.
moment by moment.
There will be days when it feels slow.
Days when you feel stuck.
Days when you think, maybe I'm not improving.
But you are.
Even when you don't see it.
Your brain is changing.
Your confidence is growing.
Your English is becoming part of you.
And one day,
You'll be in a conversation
speaking naturally.
without translating.
And you'll realize, I'm doing it,
That moment,
is not magic.
it's the result of all those small daily efforts.
That you chose not to give up on.
So starting today,
Don't wait for motivation.
don't wait for perfection.
Just start.
Speak a little.
Think a little.
Listen a little.
Every single day.
And before you go,
We want to hear from you.
where are you watching from?
And what time is it in your country right now?
Drop it in the comments. We read every single one.
And if this helped you,
Come back tomorrow.
because your English grows every single day you show up.